Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is Michelle, and who's here with me?
It's JD.
It's JD. It's always JD. It's always Michelle. It's always
Every
us.
time. It's us.
Every time. So far.
Riley's also here over on my side. I believe you got Pudge over there. Is that correct?
I did. She did bite me and then leave, as cats
Pudge.
like to do. So she's in the room and she is looking very judgy. But just in case nobody heard, that is a cat, not a roommate. But she does like to think that she is both. Yes. So we got our pets here. And we're going to talk about a movie. Ooh, it's kind of nice that we got some animals in the room due to the theme of today's film.
Is it
Maybe.
though?
It might be. We'll talk about it. JD, what did we watch today?
We watched a movie called Out Come the Wolves. Which now I can never, because it never crossed my mind, and then you pointed it out to me, and I felt like such a dope that now I can't stop thinking about it. Everybody already knows what we're talking about because it's in the title of the episode.
But maybe they're listening to us on a playlist. Who knows? It's good to
That's
mention.
possible. That's fair.
But if they're a first timer and they happen across us, then I want to know
I'm
how they
so
happen
sorry.
to. Well, yeah. Also, we are so sorry. We are very, very sorry. But we will keep being us anyway. So fuck off.
Yeah, new Shudder exclusive release. Out Come the Wolves is the title of the film. I knew absolutely nothing about it going in. I hadn't even heard of it until it landed on the schedule. I wasn't sure at all what to expect. How much did you know, Michelle?
I knew it was on my watch list. That was it.
So, like,
Things
you had
lined up
heard
on
the title, right?
Yes. I'd heard the title. I had added it to a spreadsheet.
Probably
I
read
did not
it.
recall anything.
Got it off some bloody disgusting article or something.
Of course, or like a Facebook group or
Yeah,
a Reddit
sure.
group. I got to keep my eye on all the horror movies that are coming out so that I can eventually see them.
Oh, is this a horror movie?
Oh, well, sassy comments have begun already. Definitely thriller or thriller adjacent.
Yeah, it's thriller adjacent.
Okay, we should just get into it because I don't need a lot of build up for this.
Yeah.
JD, we don't like the IMDb descripty script, but it sounds like we also don't like the Shudder one. But there is a nice little blurb.
Yeah, if
right
you
when
just
start it.
if you just play the movie and when it puts the title up in the corner, it says, and I think this is perfect. Out come the wolves. A weekend hunting trip takes a terrifying turn. Out come the wolves. 2024.
Hour
A
26
Shudder
minutes.
hour 26 minutes. A Shudder exclusive.
Yep.
Michelle,
Yeah.
give us some spoiler-free thoughts on Out Come the Wolves.
I feel like the people who made this movie had access to some wolves and had an idea for some scenes involving wolves and then figured they would write the rest of the script later. This is definitely, when the wolves show up, it's very wolf-centric. When the wolves are not there, it's very waiting for the wolves. So I am going to give it a 2.
2 skulls for Out Come the Wolves from Michelle. Would you like to know my spoiler-free thoughts, Michelle?
I feel like I might partially know them already, but absolutely.
Well, first of all, again, look, we've always said Shudder is about not strictly horror, but horror and horror-adjacent things. In its own way, this might be one of the most, frankly, barely horror-adjacent films. Is more of like a survival thriller, without saying too much. I was disappointed that there wasn't very much rancid music in this film. I feel like if you're going to title your film Out Come the Wolves, you need to at least show some respect to the 1990s punk rock classic and Out Come the Wolves. Some of you are going to say that Let's Go is the better Rancid album. You're wrong. Anyway.
Oh, definitely me, as a huge Rancid fan who definitely knows what you're talking about.
I want your salvation. Oh. Anyway.
I have
no,
that
it's...
tattooed.
I thought the first part of this movie, before the thing happens was actually pretty interesting, and I was really curious about what was going to happen. And then the thing happens, and that was totally not what I thought was going to happen, and the rest of the movie was just, oh, so that's the movie, huh? Yeah, I mean, I don't especially hate it. It just didn't do anything for me at all, so I'm coming in with you on a 2 skull. Seems fair.
Nice. A 2 skull, and a 2 skull makes us a 2 skull average.
That's fucking fantastic math, Michelle.
Thank you. I was figuring out how to add and subtract rational expressions right before this started, so I am really glad that was math I could just do in my head without factoring. So yes, I was finding lowest common denominators of factorials, and I was not enjoying myself.
I had to find today the least common multiple of 708 and 5,280 because
that's where Google comes in.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because a mile is 5,280 feet, and 1 lap around the hallway of my building is 708 feet. And so I wanted to know how many laps would I have to make so that I made exactly a number of laps that also made an exact number of whole miles. And it was like 311,000 something, so it would be like 442 laps, I believe.
So that's just like a normal thing you decide to do on a Friday?
Yeah, figure out. I mean, I have random thoughts about numbers, and then I got to figure them out. You don't have random number thoughts, Michelle?
Oh, I have so many random thoughts of all sorts, and most of them I can't say them out loud because people go, "Why would you say that out loud?" And I go, "Yeah, you're right."
One time, a friend of mine asked me if there was a way to figure out the height and width of a TV if all you know is the diagonal size as reported on the box. And I spent 15 minutes sitting down with a piece of paper figuring out, yes, you can exactly do that as long as you know the diagonal, and then you also have to know what is it a widescreen TV or an old school TV? Yeah, you got to know the ratio. Yeah, you got to. And then you can.
Oh, math is fun. Math is
I love
fun.
them. Anyway, yeah, the math is more fun than Outcome the Wolves was for me. I'm not just for me. For me. Anyway, let's. Should we go into the spoilers section, Michelle? Is that what we're doing? I think we should
add to our listeners' enjoyment and subtract our current discussion, and then maybe we will factor in a good time.
Okay. Here's actually something that we're going to do before we get into the spoiler section. This will be a good place to do this. Friend of the podcast, Sam Wasted, he plays in a band. There's a new band. The band is called Atlas Rain, and they are dropping their new first single today, the day we're releasing this. And we're going to play it for you, guys. I'm going to play it right here in the middle of the episode. I wasn't going to just stick it at the end so that some of you guys can skip over it. I'm going to play it. I'm not going to tell you how long it is.
Oh, no.
So
I listen to us in the shower. That means I'm just suddenly going to be stuck listening to music in the shower.
You listen to our podcast?
Yeah.
Oh.
One of us has to listen and critique and improve. I listen and I hate it, and I figure out what I should do better next time.
One of us needed to listen to it and make sure he uploaded the right file last week.
See, and that is another reason. That's why I message you and be like, hey, our audio sucked on this episode. And you go, what? I didn't know that. I go, yeah, because one of us listens to it.
Fair enough. Anyway, guys, shout out to Sam Wasted and everybody in the band. This is Atlas Rain. The song is called Moonlight. We'll be back in about 3.5. Right. right.
You weren't going to say how long it was.
Well, I know I lied about telling them how long it was. I figured I would at least be friendly, whatever.
Yeah.
That was
definitely
Moonlight.
help me skip forward in the episode because I'm sure by then I will have heard the song.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear it.
Well, everybody just heard it.
Exactly. I'm happy for them.
That was
but I
Atlas
am in the
Rain,
shower and
Moonlight.
I didn't want to listen to music.
Michelle, I'm trying to give people the name. Just keep. Now I know what it feels like when I just talk over you, is what's happening here right now.
Oh, how the
I
turntables.
Oh, how the turns have tabled, yes. So this is the spoiler section now where we're talking about Out Come the Wolves. Michelle, can I do the plot summary this week?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so for those of you who maybe didn't bother to watch the movie and you still want to know what happens, normally Michelle would do this and she's great at it. I'm going to try because, frankly, I feel like this one is basic enough that I'll be able to actually get through it. But so there's this is a movie, Out Come the Wolves, and you're in the woods. And there's the three of them, right? There's Sophie and her boyfriend, Nolan, who we find out is her fiance, Nolan, and pending baby daddy, Nolan. And then you got Kyle, who's Sophie's, best friend since they were kids. And Kyle, of course, has, secretly been in love with her his whole life, and they fucked one time. And Nolan knows that they fucked one time. And Nolan sucks at outdoorsy shit, but Kyle is a real man's man. He knows how to shoot a bow and arrow and a gun. And Missy also knows how to shoot. Not Missy, Sophie. Missy Peregrine is the actress. You guys might remember her from a TV show about a kid who was the son of the devil, and now I can't even remember what the name of the show was, so maybe you don't remember. Anyway, Sophie's kind of an outdoorsy person, but she stopped being an outdoorsy person for some reason that I've already forgotten. Something to do with an animal, and it made her sad, which is
Vegan
typically
now.
how that...
Yep.
I'm sorry, what?
You are correct. She is vegan now because she had a connection with a deer and felt bad about it.
Yeah, there was a whole thing. She was like, oh, it turns out when you kill things, they die, and now I can't eat meat anymore. And so then Kyle is trying to teach Nolan how to do all sorts of hunty things, but then they get drunk and they have this whole conversation about how Nolan knows that Kyle and Sophie fucked that one time. And he knows that Kyle is still in love with her and he better keep his distance. And it's all this tension and this really great tension about, at one point I'm like, is Nolan going to be the bad guy here? Is Kyle going to be the bad guy here? Maybe this is some weird setup on Sophie's part. I don't know. Kyle and Nolan go out to go hunting. They find a deer. Nolan can't bring himself to shoot it. Kyle hits it with an arrow and then gets a little overly aggressive with another arrow. And then they go chasing another deer that they thought they had got. And then when they come back to the first deer, because they never find the second one, oh shit, wolves. Rabid, well, maybe not rabid, but these angry, mean old wolves eating the shit out of this dead deer that they left behind. And then the wolves eat the shit out of Nolan, too. He gets ravaged by the wolf. Now all of a sudden there's wolves running all over the place, a whole circle of them. And Kyle says, fuck that, buddy. I'm sorry. You got all chewed up on your neck and the rest of you like that dude in Suspiria when he's walking through the courtyard. I'm the fuck out of here. And he hightails it, right? Freaking out. Also doesn't really care for Nolan anyways. So it's whatever. If he dies, he dies. No big deal. Gets back to the cabin, tells Sophie what's up. Sophie's like, what, you just fucking left him there? Is he dead? And Kyle says, I don't know. Why did he say I don't know and not just, yeah, I'm sorry, he's dead? Things would have been so much easier for him if he had just said, yeah, Nolan's dead, I'm sorry. But no, he tells her the truth for some reason, and now she turns into outdoors woman and superhero, and now they're like, we gotta go find him. And they go to find him, and he's not there. And now they got to hunt through the woods, and then they get split up, and then the wolves eat Kyle too. And then it turns out Nolan's not dead, and maybe he's going to be fine. And then Nolan and Sophie end up fighting. Sophie fights the wolves, and she kills the one wolf with a knife. And then she just fucking shouts at the other wolf to go away, and the other wolf goes away. And then they walk out of the woods and everything's fine. Kyle's dead. Nolan and Sophie survive. The end. Out come the wolves.
Yep.
Michelle, she fucking shouted at the wolf and it just went away.
Uh-huh. It was a good puppy.
I think that encapsulates my entire experience with that film. Is that scene was just like, because like I said, for the first portion of the movie, I genuinely wasn't sure what I was about to get. I thought maybe Out Come the Wolves was going to be some kind of metaphor. And there was a period where I was like, oh, Kyle's going to be that. And then I thought for a while Nolan might be the one who ends up being this crazy person. Then I thought maybe Sophie and Kyle were actually bringing Nolan out here on some kind of like hunt this guy surviving the game type of vibe. I thought it was going to be more of a man versus man in the wild kind of a thing. And then when the wolves show up, like that first wolf kill scene is cool, you know, and like the gore and everything is fine, but then just from there it just becomes like rote man versus wolf survival horror. There's barely a lot of wolf. Most of the gore you see is in the aftermath because they're using real wolves here, so obviously they're not feeding real people to real wolves. That would have been a much better film, I think, if they had fed Damon Runyon, the actor, and Joris Jarski, the actor, to actual wolves. But it just, the second half of this just totally let me down after what I was expecting to get from the first half. How did you feel about it?
I enjoyed the first part more than I did the second part, but I also didn't love either of them. This is one of those classics that we've talked about before where it feels like two completely different movies.
Yep.
And part of that was definitely deliberate. They did want you to question whether that friend was going to do some shady shit and like kill the guy while they're out hunting and now he has the girl. Like they definitely wanted you to think that. And I did, but then it's such a like misdirection that it felt weird. It wasn't like a clever like, oh shit, now there's wolves, because it was in the title. Like that's not
right.
a reveal that I was like surprised to see. So I'm like, yeah, I know that there will be wolves at some point. There were wolves. There's not like this shocking reveal for me that there are wolves. We knew that.
Yeah, well, it feels very much like if we call it Out Come the Wolves, nobody's ever gonna expect that there's actually wolves, right? Like, people be like, that's definitely a metaphor. And then when there's actually wolves, they'll be like, oh shit, there's wolves. And that, I was just like...
That would have been a great title.
Oh shit, there's wolves.
Oh shit, there's wolves.
That would have been a great title for this movie. Yeah. Oh shit, yeah. But instead the reaction I had was like, oh, it's actually wolves. And from there, I don't know, it just, like I said, the after effects of the gore was really good. Anyway, please continue.
Oh, I didn't really have much more to add. It just like, it didn't, I don't have a lot to say about this one because it was more a drama in the first part. And I actually was kind of interested in the drama. I wasn't like crazy into it because it's a thing that we've heard. We're like, oh man, that guy secretly is in love with his friend. And now the partner knows about it and he's being kind of awkward and pissed off. And like, we've seen that so many times. So I was like, okay, this is fine. And then like when they get into the woods and it becomes like a survival thing, when I was reading other people's reviews, they said that's where it got better for them, but that's where
really?
I like didn't care as much when it was just a solo survival thing, but that's also true of other movies. I just don't like somebody's trapped in the woods and trying to survive.
I was hoping for a minute that maybe like it was going to be like, oh, this is more than just normal wolves, right? Like maybe these are murder virus wolves, or maybe these are alien parasite wolves or something. And then it's just wolves. And then I was watching the credits, and it's like, oh yeah, they definitely had access, because there's like somebody who was, I don't remember who, but somebody was credited as like the wolf wrangler or organizing those wolf sequences or whatever.
That's actually the highlight of this. You know those are real wolves.
Oh yeah,
and that they filmed with real wolves, and that they set up a fake corpse for the wolves to demolish.
Yeah,
like, that's all pretty cool.
Yeah, but yes, some of the wolves die. That's inevitable in a movie like this, I suppose. But and like for me, that when she kills that one wolf, like she just like, and she knifes it, and it dies, and then that other wolf starts growling at her, and she's just like, get out, and the wolf just shuts up and walks away. That I don't know. That was almost like a bridge too far for me. That it had for me an air of absurdity that almost just sucked all any kind of pathos or tension I might have had here just completely out.
I thought we were going to get one final confrontation between what's her lady name? Sophie?
Sophie.
Is that right? Yeah, Sophie and like at least the fiance, like him being like, hey, your friend deliberately left me out here, right? And I mean, she kind of knew all that because they get to where he's supposed to be, and then she blows up at Nolan, but instead he just kind of dies, and then she finds his corpse and she's sad about it, and then they get out of the forest. It's a weird ending.
She's like, they spend a long time lingering on that corpse when she finds it. Like, they wanted to make sure you saw every bit of special effects makeup they did with that corpse.
I actually wonder, because the entire time I was like, these people just had real wolves and they wanted to use them. I wonder if they set up a corpse that was like meat and then had the wolves go to town on it. And that's why there were so many shots, because they're like, look at what the wolves really did to this body. And it's not like a human body, but it looked like they
like
set something out.
A special effects body full of meat.
Exactly, because earlier, like, all of the wolf scene attacks are so close up and just like frenetic. And I think it's because they gave them like a fake leg to bite into. And I think that's why they showed us so much and added to like my theory that they just had wolves and thought the wolves are going to set us apart from all of the other movies. We just have to have real wolves, and people will be so fascinated by that. And I feel pretty confident that that was a fake corpse or something.
Okay, I'll have to. I might go back and watch that sequence again just to see what I can see. Interesting. The two interesting things that I discovered through looking at the IMDb of this film. First of all, this one kind of blows my mind a little bit. So this movie, Out Come the Wolves, co-written and also directed by a fellow named Adam McDonald. I was looking at other things Adam McDonald has done. He did 24 episodes of that show Slasher for TV, which I'm told is pretty decent. I've never seen it, but I've
seen some of it.
It's a good long bit of work. But if you go back far enough, 10 years ago, in 2014, he directed and wrote a movie called Backcountry. And I apologize, but I'm not going to consider this too spoilery because it's the IMDb description. And it says, an urban couple goes camping in the woods and find themselves lost in the territory of a predatory black bear. And now I'm just like, oh, is this basically like the same movie, except there's a bear instead of a wolf, and there's not the jealous best friend / wannabe boyfriend. And now I'm like, wait a minute, did this dude have access to a fucking black bear too?
Have you seen Backcountry?
I have not, no.
Okay, so I was also looking at his previous work. Backcountry is I actually liked it a lot more than I did Out Come the Wolves or Holy Shit, There's Wolves or Now There's Wolves.
Oh shit, there's wolves.
Oh shit, there's wolves.
That's the name of this movie for me now forever.
Shit, there's wolves.
Oh shit, there's wolves.
But we'll say that there's a black bear attack. That is the highlight of that film too. So I think he just like has somebody who has animals and he just keeps making movies where they attack
but
people.
It gets better, Michelle. It gets better. The crowning detail of this whole thing is the lead female character in Backcountry is played by Missy Peregrine, who played Sophie in this movie.
Yeah. She just likes to hang out in the woods and get fucked up by animals.
I guess.
That's her hobby.
Reaper, by the way, is the name of that show she was in with the guy who was the devil's kid and Robert Wise was the devil and all that. Anyway, it was on for like 2 seasons and it got canceled. But the other thing I wanted to mention that I found on the IMDb for this movie, and it's clearly an example of somebody has gotten to it and they just haven't been able to, nobody's noticed or needed to correct it yet. If you look in the trivia section, there is only one item listed, and this is what it says. They got the wolves to act in their aggressive manner by telling them the catering truck had run out of strawberry-flavored jelly donuts.
Well, that's fair. That's definitely fair.
I saw that and I started reading it and I was like, oh, this could be interesting. And I got all the way to the end before I obviously was like, oh, this is a fucking joke. Oh, that made me giggle. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say about it. Out Come the Wolves, 2024, 86 minutes.
Yeah, I prefer when I really like something, but I also prefer when I straight up hate something because I at least have something to say about it. Right. The wolves are cool. Clearly, this guy just has access to wild creatures.
Here's actually something that we can say about it, though, because this is something you and I have been talking about for a while now, and this is a good indicator of why. Where, the podcast evolves and growing and that sort of thing. This movie is a Shudder exclusive. In the future, I'm not saying we're not going to be covering Shudder exclusives. And we are going to continue to cover all of these Shudder originals. But Michelle and I have been talking. We decided we're going to be a little bit more proactive about the, because sometimes they're exclusives for a while, but somebody else had them for a while before, or they're only around for a short period of time and then they disappear very quickly. So we're going to be a little bit more judicious, would you say, Michelle, about the exclusives that we choose to review? Does that sound like a good way to describe what we're doing?
It absolutely does. I will still be watching the movie.
Sure.
I will let you know if it winds up being something that like, hey, we should probably do an impromptu episode. So I'm still going to watch them. If people out there want to talk to me about any Shudder exclusives, or you are like, hey, in case you missed it, I think this one should go on the show, we'll circle back. I'm still going to watch them because I have to watch everything that comes out.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And I'm sure there will still be titles along the way that are, higher profile titles in a violent nature, that sort of thing, where even though they're not necessarily originals, they're things, or like Oddity is something that we're going to want to make sure we see. But yeah, we're going to, and the reason we're doing that is after our Candyman episode, we realized doing episodes like that where we get to go back and talk about movies that we love, or movies that we have a lot of respect for. There's a lot of fun in that we don't get to do very often. And so we're just kind of trying to open things up a little bit, bring some new things to the podcast experience. And this, thanks Out Come the Wolves for giving us a perfect opportunity to sort of represent why we're going to do that.
Yes, please. Because I feel like if we don't have fun watching a movie, even like sometimes I have a lot of fun hating things even. Like I have a lot of fun feeling an emotion.
I just don't want a gray area.
Yeah, exactly. And if I don't have fun watching something, it's not going to be fun for our listeners to listen to me be apathetic. I want to be hyped up. So I want freedom. Live in the land of the free, right, JD? So.
Oh, do we?
Well, yeah.
Do we, Michelle?
I got sad. I got really sad.
Yeah, you tried to tell a joke there for a minute, and then it went tits up on you.
That sounds like all my jokes, where I'm trying to do a joke, and then all of a sudden my tits start floating through the air. They go straight tits up. It's like that scene from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where I'm stuck on the ceiling and I can't get down. And I'm like, please help me. They're like, you have to burp. It'll deflate you. It makes open mics really awkward.
Oh, that's funny. Michelle in review coming up in a day or so here, guys. The big
it's
monthly
gonna be a
recap.
long one. It's gonna be a really long one.
That'll probably push 2 hours. If you don't follow us on social media, you may not have heard we have officially recorded enough content in the history of this show that we're now over 8 days worth of episodes. You could go 8 full days and then some without listening to an episode twice. Please don't do that. Or I guess please do if you feel so inclined. But oh my God, I feel like you would hate our guts if you listened to 8 straight days of us nonstop.
And don't worry, out of that 8 full days of content, there's at least 4 days that's worthwhile.
At least.
At least.
I'm not going to tell you which 4, though.
It is definitely Cabin in the Woods.
That's
Cabin in the
one.
Woods is the best episode because Jenna joined us.
Yeah.
More on Jenna news coming soon. Ooh. I'm not going to reveal something, but God, I'm excited.
Yeah. Michelle's got a new project in mind that's going to be entirely under her command. I'm not even really going to be involved, and I'm super stoked on it because I think a lot of our listeners are going to really enjoy it as well. Also, Michelle already knows, but we may have secured the second feature film for Darkest Day of Horror Film Festival coming up in June 2025, which means we would have 2 of the 3 that I want to book, and I'm going to announce those on the first of the year when we open everything. Oh, God, Michelle, I'm so excited. Are you going to get a chance to watch that tonight?
Probably not tonight, but tomorrow. I'm in the middle of a movie right now. And then I had to pause it and do algebra. I'm watching Assassins because I found out that I actually get a Canopy subscription through my university. So now I'm getting access to these movies that have been on my list forever. And Assassins is the story of that woman. I actually think there's 2 women. I just started it.
Is it the story of assassins?
Well, they weren't trying to be assassins. They were told they were going to be reality TV stars, and then they threw a toxic substance on the brother of Kim Jong-un in Korea, and he died. And so then they were pinned for an assassination attempt, and assassination success because dude died. And it's them telling their story like, no, we were told we were actors on a prank TV show.
Assassination by Punk'd?
It's a real story. This is the documentary about it. Yep.
Oh my God, now I have to see this. Holy shit.
It's been on my list for ages, and I'm so excited that I'm finally getting to check it out because I knew the story. There's footage of it happening. It's pretty clear she had no idea what she was doing, but it's Korea, so of course she's not going to get off.
You were talking about just like a movie.
No, this is a documentary.
Oh, God damn it. Now, yeah, I have to see this. Holy shit. I am, as soon as I'm done editing and posting this episode, I am going to sit down and watch that movie. I literally just, I just heard about the movie's existence yesterday. I just, the blurb I saw about it, I was like, oh shit, this is right up my alley. I watched the trailer. I said, oh shit, this is right up my alley. I emailed the festival people, their representatives today, and within 2 hours, they sent us the screener link and were like, hey, we'd love to be a part of it if you have us. If you ever decide to produce a horror film festival, guys, I'm serious, so far at least, it's been shockingly fucking easy to figure out movies and get people to agree to let you watch them. So,
don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
I don't have anything else to say on this episode. Do you have anything else to say on this episode, Michelle?
I'm really excited to record Michelle in Review.
Michelle in Review. Michelle in Review.
I debated asking you to do a mid-month Michelle in Review because there's a lot of shit, and I'm trying to like pare down my list. But there's a lot of shit that I watched in November that was very exciting.
There wasn't a lot of shit that I saw, but I did watch a couple of things that you have been trying to get me to watch forever.
Good. I'm excited.
And we can talk about those. We'll get that out. Keep your eyes peeled. Michelle in Review coming in the next day or so. When exactly? Who knows? We'll figure it out. Say goodnight, Michelle.
Knows. Good night, Michelle.
For more horror content, visit WeWatchShudder.com, where you'll find our world-famous, patent-pending Ghoul blog and Squelch files, as well as a schedule of upcoming episodes. Find us on social media at WeWatchShudder on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I guess Twitter, if you're still doing that for whatever reason. You can email us. mail@WeWatchShudder.com is the address. mail@WeWatchShudder.com. You can even call and leave us a voicemail, 701-566-9510. No, really. 701-566-9510. Give it a shot. See what happens. We Watch Shudder is a production of Rat Factory Media.